G'day, it's Brett. I'm back again today to talk about a timeline for importing your Japanese vehicle or KEI Truck, as I'm going to talk about. I'm a 50-something-year-old who saw a KEI Truck locally, and then I started to see more of them. And then just on YouTube, a couple of the people that I follow, the boys at Car Source and also John Cadogan, did collabs with Justin at Colton Classic, and when I saw how much fun they were having driving their KEI trucks and cars, I thought, yeah, this is something that I definitely want to do. Hey, look, this video is going to take a little while, so maybe go and put the kettle on, pause the video now, grab a coffee, and we'll come back and go through the dates. So if you've got your coffee and you've sat down ready to go, so basically back on so I'll run through the timeline and then I'll tell you exactly how long it took. So back on the 28th of February this year, I started sending out emails to various businesses that offered importing Japanese KEI trucks. So it was Colton Classic, J-Spec, and there was also Prestige, I think it's called. And then basically, to cut a long story short, I ended up going with J-Spec, and it was mainly to do with their website, because I think if there's anything that people in the industry need to take away from watching this is that people like me, we don't know the industry, we don't know anyone in the industry. So it can be a bit of a leap of faith when you're going, hey, like, I want to throw money at you and I'm going to trust that you're going to do the right thing by me. So the reason I went with J-Spec is their website. The website is really well put together. There's a lot of info. Basically, any question that you could think as someone who wanted to import is answered on there. So Prestige was probably another website that was really good. One thing that I'll alert you to now, and it's not really, the reason I'm telling you is it may reflect poorly on the businesses, but it shouldn't. And this is what I mean. So last year and in this year, the government changed all the rules around what you could and couldn't import. And of course, a lot of businesses put a lot of effort into their websites in what make and model and year and everything that you can import. And then the government goes and changes all the rules. So it takes them a little while to get their head around, first of all, what the changes mean, what they can and can't import. And so I think the industry got caught out, and a lot of the websites still haven't been able to get their websites up to speed with what models you can still import. So that's more of a conversation to have with people in the know around what it means for what you can import. I'm not going to go into it because I know a little bit, but not enough to say here because I might get things wrong. One person in Perth, for Perth people that I found very helpful having this discussion, was John Richardson. And I'm hoping to catch up with John sometime in the future. He's Perth-based, and he seemed to be a really full bottle on what you could and couldn't import. Moving on. So on the 1st of Feb, so on the 28th of Feb, I started sending emails out. As a result, on the 1st of Feb, I had a really long phone call with Ben from J-Spec. There was no question that was too silly. Ben took a long time to talk to me through all the different questions I had around how it all works and how he works. On the 3rd of February, he sent out an agreement to me, and the agreement basically outlines what he will do. So basically, he operates as like your buyer's agent. So he will help you find the car in Japan, and he will basically, on the agreement, you put down what sort of car you want. So whether you want let's say, Suzuki Super Carry, which is what I ordered. I want it 2-wheel drive. I'm not really fussed on the color as long as it's not black. I wanted a manual. I wanted air conditioning. yeah, and I wanted a late model one, so 24, 25, yeah, so, and low case. So basically all the different things that you want in a car, you put on the agreement, so he knows what he's shopping for. Because that's going to be his first job, is to go looking through all the auctions and figuring out what vehicles are coming up that may meet those criteria. Now, what ended up happening is, of course, I wanted to hurry up and buy a car. So, and I should say, basically, you pay, and it doesn't matter whether it's Ben or whatever, a lot of these businesses, you pay them up front. So it's a bit of a leap of faith, because you're saying, here's your money, and now I'm hoping that you'll do the right thing. So, yeah, it is a bit of a leap of faith. So in this case, it was $1,200. And yeah, I had to trust that he was going to do the right thing. Anyway, so we had a few conversations after I'd sent off the application, or the signed agreement, and I ended up, I think, changing a few of the, as the auctions were coming and going, I ended up changing a few of the criteria, because I wanted to make it a little bit easier for Ben to get a car. Anyway, so that was the 3rd of February. On the 12th of March, I was notified of a suitable car at auction. So what's that? It's just over, it's 5 weeks or so, five and a half weeks from when I signed the agreement to when a suitable car come up at auction. We agreed on what price range to bid on it, and on the 13th of March, I was successful in getting the car. And I won't go through the prices, through the price, because I put that in a separate video on the cost of everything. So on the 17th of March, so that's 4 days later, I got the invoice from Ben, and it was the Japanese auction house invoice for, well, I'll tell you, it's 1,188,000 yen. Now, Ben then walked me through how we were going to pay for it. And what we ended up doing was using a wires transfer. So I created a wires account, put the Australian dollars in the wires account. That's a whole other story. NZ Bank, bless their cotton socks, they were trying to stop me from being scammed. They fair income thought I was going to be scammed because I'd put all this money in a wires account and then tried to transfer it overseas. So I was actually really impressed with ANZ trying to stop me from doing it. It took a number of phone calls and a lot of reassurance to tell them I knew what I was doing. So anyway, so we got the bank transfer to a Japanese wires account. Then on the 19th of March, so that's 2 days later, Ben introduced me to a company he works with called Top Secret Imports. They then, basically I got an email from them, a link to go into their website, and there was a website form that I completed, and it was very long. A lot of information in there, so they could do their job. And from what I understand, basically they do the Australian side of when the car arrives. They also do the permit to bring the car into Australia. So I signed up on the what was it called? The website, the Rover. So I had to set up a Rover account, which is the government website where you get vehicles licensed and complied or whatever. So I set up a Rover account. They then get you to make them enable them to act on your account. So you on your behalf. So you enter some email addresses in there for them, and that enables them to go and do some work in the background on your behalf. So I paid at that time. I paid a $500 deposit, or $500 of the total $2,000 fee, and I'll get into what the other money was for later. But basically, I was then on Rover, and they started the work there. So then on the 20th of April, so another month later, I received approval for the import notice from the Rover. And then I let Ben know, and Ben got back to me with a shipping arrival date estimated at May 12th. So on the 4th of May, Ben sent me some customs declaration docs to electronically sign for Auto Hub, otherwise known as DASMAC, and that's the shipping agent who also deal with customs. So yeah, so I completed those. So I electronically signed those documents to return to Ben. On the 3 days later, on the 7th of May, AutoHub sent me an invoice for $4,775. Now the breakdown of that was $2,500 for the shipping. The GST, of course, as the vehicle comes in Australia, the taxation department want their amount, so that was $1,318 to go to the tax department. There was a quarantine fees of $670, and in the amount I paid video, I detailed that there was an amount for $450 for treatment for a certain bug, heat treatment. I ended up getting that back. So customs, I looked at the vehicle and they decided it didn't need the treatment, so I got that money back, which was great. And then the road delivery to the compliance workshop was $220. So that's what that amount came to. And from that shipping invoice, I could actually see the name of the ship, which was cool. And I could track the ship as it came into Fremantle. What was really frustrating is it actually sat at anchor for about a week off Fremantle. It couldn't get in because I guess it was in a queue. On the 26th of May, so what's that, another 3 weeks later, I received the final invoice for the balance of the compliance, so from Top Secret, so that was $1,500. And so that they went on then to organise the compliance with a compliance workshop here in WA. So I believe Tom Secret are in Sydney, but yeah, they have a workshop that they deal with in Perth. So that was on the 27th of May. 26th of May. On the 27th of May, the compliance was completed by the workshop in Perth. And they gave me a phone call and said, "We've done your compliance, the truck's ready to pick up." And I said, and this is where things started to fall down a bit. I said, "Oh, great, okay, is it licensed?" They go, "Well, no." "Did you want it licensed?" I said, "Yeah." And they go, "Well, no one's told us." So anyway, so I ended up emailing Top Secret going, "What's going on?" Because part of the paperwork I'd indicated was to get it licensed. And yeah, I think they weren't used to dealing with people in Perth, or for whatever reason, it fell down there. They said that the compliance workshop weren't able to get it licensed. However, they were able to take it over the pits, which I really wanted to happen, because what I thought is if they've done the compliance work and then they run it over the pits, if there is any issues, they're going to be the ones who can sort it out then and there, or deal with it quite quickly. Whereas if I was to go and get it on a trailer, run it down the pits, and there was an issue, I'd go, okay, help. So yeah, they charged $490 for that service, and I was happy to pay it, because anyone who's taken a vehicle over the pits knows it can be a lengthy process, and those guys doing it all the time, no problem. So they did the pit inspection, and then what they did is they sent through the pit inspection to me, so I had that document to then go to licensing. So the next day, on the 29th, first thing in the morning, I was on the doorstep of my licensing centre. I went in there, had the documentation. I thought I had all the receipts I needed, but no, licensing needed some other documentation that I didn't have. So I was straight on the phone to Ben at JSpec, and to his credit, while I was at licensing, he sent me through some documents, and he also got on to Top Secret, and he got them to send me through more documents. And it took about an hour, but eventually licensing said, "Yep, no, we'll accept what you've been given." So just I guess a warning with it when it comes to the licensing side of things. They will need they need a receipt. Doesn't need to necessarily be from Japan, but from their buying agent or the dealer, saying how much the vehicle was, how much they need the full VIN number on the document, the make, model, whatever, the year, your name, your address, how much their vehicle, and that there's nil balance to pay. If they've got all that, then they're happy. They also need the paperwork from importing to show that it's all been gone through customs and that's all cleared. They need the pit inspection, which I mentioned, and they also need the compliance paperwork as well. If you've got all that, then you should be good going through licensing. Otherwise, if you're over east, I believe Top Secret do offer the service where they get it licensed for you, so you don't need to do all that. But anyway, we got there, and so what was it? It was 16 weeks from when I first spoke to Ben to when I took delivery. So one of the takeaways that you should get from this is you don't need the money all up front. So if you're saving up, or if you're doing a mortgage redraw or whatever, the money comes out in spits and spurts. So I had 16 weeks in which to be paying all these bits and pieces. So probably the biggest amount would be close to obviously at the start, when you pay about half of it for the vehicle. But then as you saw with those dates, the amounts were coming as they were due. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all. As I said, I've gone through the amounts in another video, so if you wanted to run through how much it actually cost. But one of the things on Ben's website I liked as well is he does give a timeline on the website, and he gives a range in weeks, and his estimates are somewhere between 11 and 19 weeks, and I fell pretty much bang in the middle, 16 weeks. So yeah, as long as you're patient, you can save a lot of money doing it yourself, especially if you're patient at the start. Like, I wasn't patient at all. I was like, Ben, I just want to get a truck. But if you're patient, you can get the colour, you can get full drive, auto, manual, like whatever. So if you're patient and let him find the right truck, you'll get what you're after. But yeah, I wasn't too fussed on colour or anything. I just wanted to get a truck. So yeah, I hope this has been helpful. There's lots and lots and lots of companies doing it now, and I guess you just need to satisfy yourself that the people that you're forking over the money to are going to do the right thing. I'm not the person to answer that, because this is the first time I've done it. I'm really happy with the process that I went through, and I guess the test to how it was for me is, would I do it again? Yes, I would do it again. So if they change the rules and they make other vehicles available for import, I would probably go again, but with a van or something else. So yeah, I was happy with my experience. A few little hiccups along the way, but it was great that both Top Secret and Ben were able to fix things straight away. There was no problem. I wasn't chasing anyone. So yeah, as again, hopefully this has been helpful for you. Feel free to ask questions in the comments, and I'll answer as best I can.